That was Cameron Eve, the Choke, singing us into Up Front with Frank Rothstein on Skies Crescent Radio at skiescrescentradio.com. Well, we're also on Facebook.com, slash Skies Crescent Radio, or the same site, slash Upfront with Frank Rothstein, this guy. And we're just going to be talking about this, that, and the other thing. I mean, lots of it is important in certain ways, but I'm going to make fun of it if I can because it's all so ridiculous. But before we do, everyone say hello to the woman on the other side who's pressing all the buttons, sliding all the knobs, and getting ready to tour the world. It is, of course, Jade Zabrik. Hello, Jade. What is going on? First, I hope everyone had, let's see, from when we spoke last. We covered Halloween. We're all getting ready for Thanksgiving now. By now, yeah. And it's going to be extremely expensive, from what I understand. I'm telling you, it's insane. And again, I was never quite sure why everyone, turkey, it's just not really I mean, I eat it, it's there, but it's not something I would need to have. But I always attack the side dishes. I just get more fun out of it. But if you're wondering about your supply chains for all the good things you need in your home and in your life, just letting you know that this is from November 7th. It says the supply chain is stalled by 72,000 truckers who failed strict drug tests. Got that? 72,000. I already told you about the 80,000 jobs that were available. Okay. It says, I like this, a truck driver shortage that's wreaking havoc on the United States economy is getting worse and is being fueled partly by tough federal drug testing restrictions that were imposed nationwide last year. And that's, of course, I like the industry officials. All right. More than 72,000 drivers have been taken off the U.S. roads since January of 2020 because they have failed drug tests that are now required by the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse, a 22-month-old registry established to increase safety on the U.S. highways. And what I like this, someone says that's a big number, considering that the American Trucking Association, who blames the pandemic and the lack of young drivers, among other factors. All right, fine. But either way. So yeah, this is pretty bad. This is really bad. And I'll tell you why I think it's really bad in just a few minutes. But yes, this is, I mean, whatever it is they're taking, whatever it is they're failing on, I mean, maybe it's someone's taking a medication that's not on the list. Maybe some people are outright just bad addicts. They could be smoking pot on the highways. Not every state has the same regulations, and I'm not even sure of what all the regulations are when you're an interstate driver in commercial industry. But yeah, that's a pretty big number. And of course, it affects everybody. That's the problem with addicts. They think about themselves. I mean, even if they're not fall down drunks or like bent over addicts who feel the need to shoot up at every gas stop, but it affects everybody, not just you. And that's what's going on. Yeah, this is pretty good coming up on holiday season. That this is what it is. So yeah, plenty of jobs to be had. So if you just got your truck driver's license yesterday and you feel like making some money, there's got to be a job for you somewhere, because a lot of people, for now, got the boot. Now, why am I? Wait, I'm going to tell you why I think. One thing. While we're talking, there's also a case going before the Supreme Court, and they're hearing arguments about the constitutionality of the New York strict gun carry laws. Any local observer listening to the back and forth must have had one question: have the berobed innocents and the ivory tower advocates from the sticks of Washington, D.C. ever been to New York City? Well, yeah, there is we have strict gun laws, supposedly. And there's a case, looking to make it where people can just carry a gun. That's what it is. Easy carrying in New York City. Because as we all know, much like the truck drivers on the highway and people in New York, everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody is responsible for their own actions, obviously, because they say they are. I mean, look at this. One thing about truck drivers is, with the exception, when they first pick up their load, it goes into the truck and they go wherever that destination is. The only time they really see their boss is when they check in, when they pull in from one station to another, or the home base, and they talk to whoever's dispatching or whoever's assigning what. For a little while they're on break, someone's they have to answer to somebody for a little while, but then they're on the road, then they're their own boss. And this is just the way it is. People doing what they want without thinking about it. Now let's go back to the gun case. Well, I don't need to read all the particulars about the case itself, but this is, again, people with this, my Second Amendment rights, my Second Amendment. First of all, you're going to carry a gun. Well, I'm sure you'll buy yourself a nice one. Look nice and shiny when you get it. People like new. Used is good, but people like new. And maybe if you have a brain, you'll get some training in how to use it properly. But for the most part, people will carry a gun. This is allowed. And you'll hear a lot of guys saying, yes, I'll blow their brains out, I'll do this, I'll do that. But then again, they may do it to you too. And this is a good question. Not just do you have the ability to use, that's a technical distinction. Do you have the stomach to use it? Will you hesitate? When you pull out a gun, will you hesitate if the other guy pulls out a gun too? Do you have it in you to actually want to shoot somebody? I don't know that I could. I don't know that I would want to. And it's not like I never fired a rifle before, fired a gun before. I actually had a pretty good eye. From a distance, I shot out the middle of a matchbook. But I had a good eye for it. But no, I don't know that I want to shoot anybody, and I don't see the need to carry a gun. Then again, there are people who think they do, or they just want to, because it makes them feel good, because it's cool, it's this, it's that, it's bad, it's this. Meantime, probably some idiot will put it in their pants. They probably saw a movie, they'll put it inside their belt and blow their own leg off. But again, one thing these things have in common: people are allowed to do what they want. People are just, and it's not that people shouldn't have freedom to do this or that. People shouldn't have it. You hear about, well, my God-given right. This is my civil right. And then they always throw in God into it. My God-given right. Well, no, God didn't give you the right to get high while you're driving a truck. God didn't give you a right to take steroids if you're going into a boxing match and maybe punch the other guy's head off and kill him. God didn't give you a right to carry a gun for no reason and simply look to use it. No, that's not the case. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people who don't have a need for a little extra protection, of course, depending on where you are and what you're doing. Me? I mean, growing up as a kid, who used to get to carry guns if they weren't in law enforcement? Jewelers, they carried diamonds. They used to carry a gun. At least they had the option of filing, filing for a permit. I don't remember how many got it. I don't remember any headlines saying jeweler kills suspect, but okay, whatever. One thing about people is, while I do not believe that they need a ruler, a keeper, or anything else, anyone telling them what to do every minute of every day, I do believe that if you leave people alone, because 1 million people have 1 million opinions, they're all their own, I believe you have accidents waiting to happen. Not everybody is evil. Some people are just inept. And I also think that if people who have a gun, they should be rated on what kind of a gun they have. I mean, I think you should be able to be required to take a test to see what kind of a gun you're allowed to carry. Certainly, if your hands are not that strong or that big, maybe a bigger gun is not the one for you, even though it looks good. It looks like, yeah, but no. I think that especially when you see people who buy the open carry states and we're all walking around with military gear, on straps, their rifle, their machine gun, whatever they got, their semi-automatics, all military grade. I think they should be required to be able to handle the thing, control it without the strap around their back. I mean, let's face it, if guitar players know to carry a strap around their back for their guitar to control it, I think somebody with a gun can do it also. See if you can really handle it. As far as what would be in Manhattan, well, it's probably a handgun of one sort of, one thing or another. But not everybody is as strong as everybody else. People are different. Some people have bigger hands. Some people have strong, smaller hands. Some people are stronger, weaker, whatever it is. Some people are older and maybe their hands shake through injury, something. Everybody's different. And I think that not only when you go to get a permit to carry a gun, I think you should be rated and certainly should have an eye exam because you're supposed to be able to see your target, and certainly you don't want to make a mistake at where you're pointing the thing. But back to, again, the truck drivers, well, the same thing. They got to take eye exams. I think they should be, I think everybody who drives a truck on the open road should be a little more aware of what they're doing, think about other people more. And 72,000 people have been taken off the road, and this affects everybody because, again, things that need to get around the country are now doing it at an even slower pace. So you want your rights, you want to be able to do this and that. As the old cliche saying goes, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Well, 72,000 people got it. As far as the gun thing goes, well, we'll find out what happens when it happens, like anything else. And now that I've finished on those two subjects and telling everybody this and that about safety and driving and how to handle a gun, let's get back to some even more important stuff. The train walkers are doing well. They had a double bill show yesterday. They were in Brooklyn during the day, Manhattan at night. They're a group of, last night it was 12. If you've ever walked the train and you can play an instrument, there's a place for you. Contact Jade Zabrick at jadezabrick@gmail.com. Go to the Train Walkers website and see what they do. There's a few clips out there, so you can get an idea, get a little taste of what kind of shows they put on. And everyone seems to be having a good time on stage. And that's what's really important. The train walkers are doing well. A lot of people have a gun and shoot their foot off. The train walkers are I have priorities here. Music is my priority. I mean, if I didn't have music, I'd have gone insane. I'd have had a gun years ago. So, like when you can't sleep at night and you start thinking and your brain goes on, I put on my headphones and I start blasting heavy metal, or at least ZZ Top. And if anything in my brain that's rattling around, keeping me up, wants to stay in there, let them listen to this shit for a while. So I just play loud music. I'm a happy guy. Everything else is going okay. Let's see what else is going on in the world. There's always something. Oh, I like this story because of the stupidity of it. And this just came out. I'm on NBC News website. God forbid the GOP, the Republican Party, isn't upset about something, especially when it comes to COVID and vaccines. It seems that our favorite Senator Ted Cruz of Texas is all upset because Big Bird put out a Twitter's tweet that he got vaccinated. Yes, Big Bird got vaccinated. And Big Bird put out a simple tweet that says, I got the COVID-19 vaccine today. My wing is feeling a little sore, but it'll give my body an extra protective boost that keeps me and others healthy. Big Bird is 8'2", by the way. I never knew that, but he's 8'2". A lot of people have played him because I remember watching him as a little kid. Big Bird's around since Sesame Street's around. He's been on for over 50 years. Well, Ted Cruz is upset because he says it's political and liberal politics and all that government propaganda for 5-year-olds. Let me tell you something. Big Bird has talked about vaccines way back when all we had to worry about was measles, mumps, chicken pox, even that thing called polio. Big Bird was telling you about it. Big Bird was talking to you about death when Mr. Hooper died. Yeah, I remember watching that. Mr. Hooper, the old guy who ran the candy store on Sesame Street, had died. The actor had died. And they had to explain this to Big Bird. And Big Bird as a character is he's forever 6 years old. That's how Big Bird is structured. That's how he communicates and how he understands as a 6-year-old would. So for Big Bird to say he got vaccinated is not exactly a unique thing, but why any senator, Congress would even care about this? Especially now that since 5 to 11-year-olds are now eligible to get vaccinations, which would make sense why a Sesame Street character would tell you about it. But oh man, you gotta love this stuff. Yeah, yeah. But everybody talks about it. Everyone has talked about it. I mean, you used to see there was an old clip, Elvis got vaccinated. Muhammad Ali talked about people should get vaccinated more from the legality standpoint in the 60s when, early, like around 68, when people were not allowed in schools and there was a law. So he told everyone to follow the law. Even in Star Wars, R2-D2 and C-3PO were talking about it, getting vaccinated. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't see what's so bad about Big Bird. I love Big Bird. I love all of them. I love Muppets. Who is my favorite Muppet? Well, I always like the song Phenomena. You know, Phenomena. I love Phenomena. The Count. He was always good. All he did was count. Sounding like Dracula, because that's who he was supposed to be. You know, I'm the Count. I count. 1, 2, 3. That's what he did. Of course, I was a Kermit fan. I liked Oscar. I grew up with them. You know, not all the Muppets of today, but I grew up with them. I have my favorites. But yes, let's give Big Bird a pass on this one, okay? Big Bird has covered more serious subjects than most real life adults. So let's give Big Bird a bit of a, he could slide on this one. What else is going on here? Oh, by the way, everyone knows the New York Marathon ran yesterday. What a surprise. People from Kenya won both men's and women's races. Well, that's cool. That's cool. The men's division, Albert Korer, 27 years old, crossed the finish line at 2:08:22. And the women's title went to Paris Jepchirchir. I think I got that right. Jepchirchir, 28. She clocked in at 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 39 seconds. That's great. Each one takes home $100,000. But I was wondering, you see, the way it sets up is the world-class runners, like 2 winners, they set up in the front. They're not going to get locked jammed by everybody who just goes to run the marathon for the sake of trying it. But it also sets up where not just anybody has a chance of winning. Because if you're really that good, but no one knows you, you're in the pack. And they already have a big lead. You're not catching the lead pack anymore. You're in, you're in the bleacher section, so to say. I'm not sure how exactly all the timing works, because if it takes a while for the people at the back of the pack to start running, well, the clock is running. So, okay, let's say you finish in 4.5 hours, but you've had to wait for a minute maybe to get going. But I'm wondering if someone in the mid-pack, say middle of the pack, starts running. The men's leader finished at 2 hours, 8 minutes, 22 seconds. Well, what if you're in the middle of the pack, you start running, you sprint a little bit, but maybe you can finish in 2 hours and 8 minutes and 22 seconds if you go a little faster. You see what I mean here? I mean, theoretically, theoretically, anybody could win. It's not likely, but it's a race, so to say. It's an open event. So I don't know how exactly you I mean, I haven't given it much thought, just popped into my head yesterday. But it is interesting that it's set up for a certain group to have a chance to win, and everybody else is everybody else. And sometimes in everybody else, you find a somebody, you know, who is something else. Well, anyway, congratulations to the winners. 26 miles. I wish I could run 26 feet. Oh, what else is going on? Happy birthday and happy anniversary to Wonder Woman, who is 80 years old. Yep, Wonder Woman, 80 years old. I'm on Wikipedia for this because I want to get her credentials. She's got to have comic credits. So let's see what we got here. Okay. I want to see her resume. She's a founding member of the Justice League, Princess Diana, you know. Her character first appeared in All-Star Comics #8. That was published October 21st, 1941, which means probably my mother and my father had the first issue. And of course, my grandmother threw it out when she cleaned the room. And her first feature in Sensation Comics #1, that's January 1942. But yeah, she's been around a long, long time. You know, she has those bracelets, you know, and her lasso of truth and the invisible jet and all of her, and her training and all that stuff. When I was growing up, I'm trying to think, who was the first Wonder Woman that I saw on television? I know Linda Carter is the most famous of all, even by today's standard. No matter who plays Wonder Woman, they are all compared to Linda Carter. And she is my Wonder Woman. My age range, she is my Wonder Woman. The same way as, even though I saw the original TV series with George Reeves as Superman, Christopher Reeve is my Superman. Adam West is my Batman, and so on. But yeah, she's 80 years old. But yeah, my like I say, my Wonder Woman is Linda Carter. I don't care who else plays it. Gal Gadot's making all the money with her third movie coming out, but it's still Linda Carter for me. Yeah, and she's been a lot of. She always had these villains. Who would Aris Cheetah, Dr. Poison, Dr. Psycho, Giganta. Yeah, she had her own enemies. But yes, happy birthday to Wonder Woman. Who is your favorite? Who is your favorite superhero? You could write to me at upfrontfrank@gmail.com, or we are live on Facebook on Sky's Crescent Radio and on Upfront with Frank Rothstein. If you post your answer there, we'll talk about your favorite hero. That's what I think. Jay, did you have a favorite superhero growing up? She's shaking her head no. She can't even say the words. That's it. It's embarrassing. You have to have a superhero, somebody with a cape. So you didn't want the gold bracelets to shoot the bullets away and all that. Even when you were in the military, you didn't want to have the bracelets just in case the Kevlar didn't work. I would think that all women, since all men supposedly lie, would want the lasso of truth, wrap it around them and get them to tell the truth about everything. But okay, But to me, it was always, my hero is always Superman. Not many people can go faster than a locomotive, leap tall buildings in a single bound. Oh, excuse me, he was faster than a speeding bullet and leaped tall buildings in a single bound. Yeah, and he was also the only superhero that had a job. That's true. Not just as Clark Kent, because the reporter. No. He was the only one who would ever say, "This is a job for a Superman," and that's just what he did. So, okay. So, and with that, happy birthday, happy anniversary to Wonder Woman, and Linda Carter still gets all of her praise for doing that, which is great. Um, what is this? Oh, okay. We've got a lot of weight to talk about today. Okay, let's see what this is like a conflict of interest and weight perspective. This comes from November 5th. Plus size Hooters in booty shorts spark debate. And they say they are sexy and confident. Okay, they're sexy and confident. And they're serving up thick thighs, breasts, and wings, and the thick girls want in. Okay. Fried chicken chain Hooters is in the thick of it, and yet another social media beef. Well, that's nothing there. This time the restaurant has been placed under a cyber rotisserie spit, on a cyber rotisserie spit, in the debate over whether its 420 franchises should begin hiring full-figured women to sling their world-famous wings while donning their signature skimpy uniforms. Plus-size Hooter girls, very interesting, and an intrigued Twitter user wrote. Says the ban for buxom beauties from Hattiesburg, Mississippi isn't employed by Hooters. In fact, they're only wearing the brand's titillating togs as a Halloween costume. Well, that's what the company says. Even if it's for a picture, the girls say they're okay with it. That's good for them. A lot of guys who go to Hooters are attracted to heavy women. That's nothing new. There's nothing new. There's somebody for everybody. I think, what the hell? What the hell? As long as they're comfortable wearing the Hooters costume, uniform, whatever you want to call it, wear it. Wear it. That's all. Just wear it. Okay. There you go. What's next? Well, in terms of this subject, the other side of the other perspective is, well, they are getting support. I'm reading here, this is from November 3rd. It says, world's fattest man says he was to be cremated in a slaughterhouse upon his death. Got that? And it says here, the catchline is stupid. He says he wasn't too keen on being roasted like a pig in post-mortem. The former world's fattest man, who once tipped the scales at nearly 1,000 pounds, claims that his UK hospital ward had planned to cremate him in a slaughterhouse if he died due to his massive size. He detailed the inhumane idea in an ITV documentary, The World's Fattest Man, 10 Years On. And of course, he thought it was disgusting. His name is Paul Mason. He's 61. He revealed of the medical institution where he stayed for 3 years. So he's staying somewhere because obviously he needed help caring for himself. And their plan was to put him in a slaughterhouse and cremate him. Cremating him in an oven, the same way you would cremate a cow, because at 1,000 pounds, there you go. So he did lose some weight, but what did I say? He started packing on pounds during the pandemic. I guess he was taking a backward step. Paul had been consoling himself with potato chips and scheduled surgeries, 2 knee replacements, a new hip, several hernia operations, all costing more than $130,000. Had been waylaid by the lockdown. Anyway, somehow the thought of that is sort of disgusting. It really is. It really is horrific that somebody would plan on putting you in a cow oven. Now, he has lost weight. Of course, he had all the surgeries for his hanging flesh because they had to get rid of some of it. But yeah, that was the plan in England, to take somebody and cremate him in a slaughterhouse for lack of better idea of what to do. Well, what if What if there was an earthquake and he died? What if there was an accident based on whatever a doctor did died? What would their plan be then? The story is if he died due to his weight, what would happen if he died not because of his weight? What if he's had an allergic reaction to a medication? What if he choked to death on the food, the facility he was living in? What if he choked to death on something they gave him? What if, what if, what if? And how could anyone think of doing that to somebody? Years ago, about 34 years ago, I was in North Carolina at the Duke University Diet and Fitness Center for weight. I was nowhere near the size of this guy, but I was big enough. And I went down there. Not everybody who goes to these places are massive, Some people are just, they go for lose 20 pounds, 10, 5, 50, whatever the deal may be. And I was a kid, so weight comes off of you real fast when you're a kid. So I said to myself, I'm going for 30 days. I'm going to do 30 pounds. And I did. I did that. I was 24. Now, it's not as easy when you're older because your metabolism is different. You move different. And of course, I can't run around like I did when I was 24. So even at a heavy weight, I was, of course, not by nature in better shape then. But I've seen some of the diets. And I've seen some of the people roughly his weight, 1,000 pounds or whatever, but less. A lot of these diets that you see now, these no carb, drop of carb diets, what's keto or anything else, they all came from what was called the Atkins diet. The Atkins diet was created for people who mostly who needed to get the weight off now, whether they were going to surgery or their heart was going to explode in a week or a month or whatever the deal may have been. They needed to get the weight off now. So carbs were eliminated, pretty much eliminated. Maybe there's a few vegetables where you may get it, but for the most part, eliminated. And they got off their necessary 40, 50 pounds so they could, or more, because when you're that kind of heavy, initially you will lose a lot of weight in a month or two. But I saw some of these people, they didn't get on a regular scale. They didn't get on, that's not what happens when you're that big. There used to be a club called the Nickel Club. That is for people 500 or more pounds. 500 pounds or heavy. It's called the Nickel Club. They don't get off of, they don't get onto a regular scale like you or I would. They get onto a much bigger scale, much like a freight scale, big. That way it could hold them. And it's different. You'd be surprised. You really would be surprised. There's a lot more that goes into losing weight than just eating a salad and dropping 10 pounds. Trust me on this one. It's not like what I'm describing is not like the average person looking to look better in a suit or getting ready for an event and they want to buy a dress. It's just not the same thing. Okay. What else we got? By the way, as I was saying, that we just ran the marathon. I almost forgot to mention, in case people do not know who created it, it was Fred Lebow, who was a Holocaust survivor, and it originally started just by a bunch of people, 126 men and one woman, running around Central Park quite a few times. The marathon is 50 years old. Fred Lebow, well, he had a good idea. Worked out well. A couple of years, it really took off. So I was saying, the supply chain, as we call it, it's going to get tougher with all the people losing their jobs and things not getting around. Everything is going up in price. Everything. Even the $1 pizza is going up in price. And I'm looking at a picture making a tray out of bills. They used a bunch of $20 bills to create what would look like a pizza pan. or pizza with, crust rolled up on top of the crust, and they put quarters on it like you had pepperoni. And again, everything. The percentages of price increases for food is sick, sick. To give you an idea, I'm looking at an increase of what certain items cost by the pound and what it was in October of 2020 and what it is in October of 2021. A pound of flour was 32 cents a year ago. Now it is 48 cents. Cheese, 1 pound, went up from 250 to 275 a pound. The flour, 50%. Wow. Tomatoes by the case went from $16.50 to $29. Pepperoni, 1 pound, went from $3 to $5 a pound. That's 67%. Garlic, go figure out. Garlic went from 6 cents to 30 cents an ounce. That's 400%. Pizza boxes went from 30 to 58 cents each, 93%. The aluminum plates you see in places, when you want to get food to go, went for a case from $38 to $73, 92%. Remember all those percentages that is going up. Now, granted that when you're making a pizza, you're serving 8 people or 8 portions. The price. This is from one of the chains, I won't tell you which chain, went from $2.25 to $2.75, 22%. A pie went from $15 to $18. And that is what is going on in the world of pizza. And this was, let me see, this was Mona Lisa Pizzeria. I didn't want to say the name. Mona Lisa Pizzeria was reporting this. Everything went up. Mona Lisa is a big chain. Mona Lisa Pizza has oh well. Back to leaving people to do what they want and why people shouldn't have guns. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to tell you this. If you remember, I was talking about how Superman has come out as bi, as have a few other superheroes. Well, police. This is from 6 days ago because I go, weekly. Police in Los Angeles are reportedly patrolling the homes of several of the DC Comics illustrators after artists received credible threats from angry fans over a recent announcement that Superman is bisexual. You got that? Real people getting real death threats because of a cartoon character. So there's the usual thing, internet backlash, everyone's upset. Gotta have a few Twitter people on it. But just go picture that. The guy is not real, people. Yes, he is my superhero. I want to fly also. I want to do all this and that. And, but I want bullets bouncing off my chest, especially since I live in New York City now. But he's not real. There's no reason to kill anybody over this. And this is just stupid. Talk about your sense of stupid. Damn. Ah, my, oh, my, oh, my, oh, my, oh, my. That's why I really, people are dumb. People are really dumb. What else is going on here? This story came out on the second day after I spoke to you. You ever see that guy in the videos and you read about the $1,000 steak and you have this would-be chef who takes the salt and lets it sort of like drip down his arm and say $1,000 steak? Salt Bay's London restaurant with $1,975 steak, hiring chef for $16 an hour. All right, that's a London rent there. It's translated into American currency. You're selling a steak for almost $2,000, and you want to hire somebody, a chef, who counts everyone's money because they know what it costs for $16 an hour. So it says, Nusret Goxi, I can't pronounce that, also known as Salt Bay, is hiring a chef to whip up a pricey menu items at the Golden Giant Tomahawk Steaks That costs $1,975 or 1,450 pounds. And he wants to hire the chef for a measly $16 an hour. Talk about you cheap. Talk about how bad it can get. I mean, what do people think about? They want to say they offer a golden burger for $136 each or 100 pounds. Your golden giant strip loin for $1,839 or 1,350 pounds. And of course, golden cafes, I don't know, $681 or 500 pounds. I'm not always good on my words. Let's see. So what else I have here? Highly criticized for its outrageous prices, which includes $34 or 25 pounds for desserts, $12 or 9 pounds for a soda. I read you the golden jar, okay, and wow, $34 for desserts. Want to get a cheesecake that badly? Fork it up, people. Anyway, so it says in August, his chain was sued for allegedly stiffing workers' pay. 5 grill men filed suit in New York City and alleged that they were not paid overtime pay. The men each claimed they made a weekly salary of $1,125 and worked over 70 hours per 7 days. So pretty much, we got a guy who's just cheap. I don't care how good his steak is, he's cheap. And that's just what it is. He's brutally cheap. He's cruelly cheap. And $16 an hour. Holy moly. Well, okay, there you go. But let me now talk about the dumbest person of the week. Dumbest, I don't know if it's the chef, the restaurant owner who hires a chef for $16, or this woman. Oh man, she's a TikTok user who just told everybody that they got their boyfriend's name inked on their spine in giant letters 1 week before they broke up. Now it says, okay, I'm guessing that she goes with the gender neutral phrases of they and them. It says a TikTok user revealed they got their boyfriend's name inked on their spine. Okay, fine. Ashlyn Grace took to social media, that's her name, Ashlyn Grace, to tell everybody in the app that follows her that she put her boyfriend's name down her spine, as I said. And I'm looking at it. Big, big letters. It says Alexander. Alexander, but they broke up. Well, looks like it was nice, even work. Somebody nice lettering. Somebody knew what they were doing. Except for 2 things. One is now you're branded. And even if you met another guy named Alexander, it's not his. So maybe your TikTok followers think it's pretty good, but good luck meeting somebody. You're branded for life, kiddo. So start getting it removed now. It may take you several dozen trips. People, I don't know, you want to get a tattoo, knock yourself out. Just use a little brain work, put a little thought into it. Do you really want to do that? I knew somebody years ago who tattooed her boyfriend, what was his name? Tom, whatever, with his birthday on her back. In a decent sized letter. Then she had her boyfriend put her name on his back with her birthday on it. Well, I guess she can meet a guy named Tom, and he can meet a guy named Heather, a girl named Heather, but they got their birthdays on it. So how dumb can you get? And this is dumb. And I've seen some really stupid tattoos. I mean, this you put on a shirt, you go for a job interview. I've seen some people put some really sick stuff on their faces, and I don't know who's hiring them, but Someone must be, they're paying rent somewhere. But anyway, Ashlyn has Al's name on her back. So least you can do is enjoy it for a while and not break up with the guy. But okay. Good luck. And we're coming close. This hour has gone by fast. Like I said, a couple of decent stories today. Most of it's a lot of nonsense, like $1,000 steak, or nine, excuse me, $2,000 steak. We covered a lot. We covered some weight problems. Speaking of weight, I'm doing it. I got my belt size down. The tape measure is moving. I'm down a size, which to me is all well and good. So now I got to reinvest in jeans. So I'm pretty happy with all that. Now you're not lifting me up that fast, but soon enough. It is now possible for me to lose a battle on the seesaw, which sometimes it could be really dangerous. But put it this way. You get two average sized people weighing 180, they balance on the seesaw. That doesn't always happen to me. Usually I'm the winner, unless I meet the guy from England, then I'm flying off around the country. Okay, so what else is going on as I took my drink of iced coffee as always? I'm plotting on scheming dinner tonight. I've been having great success with washing off my tuna fish. People ask me why I do that. Well, tuna in water is, I guess, okay. It tastes better in oil, but it's okay if you want an alternative. But there's still salt behind, so I always get a little hand strainer for the can in. I rinse it off, and when the water goes from cloudy to clear, I know it's clean. The salt, whatever little oil residue is there, is gone. Dump it in. Got rid of. I don't use mayonnaise that much, so I'm using, of all things, low-fat cottage cheese instead of mayo. Now all you really have is protein, and that has been so far somewhat of a secret of success. But I was plateauing for a while. If you don't know what a plateau is, it means at a certain point you stop losing weight. Your body is sort of confused. The human body is very defensive. Believe it or not, it's very defensive. From here down, from your neck, from the start of your neck down, your body's a very stupid instrument, very high-tech machine, incredible machine. Bless you, Jay. Jesus. But it's not an intelligent device. Everything that comes with intelligence and reasoning comes from the chin up. And that's really, starts at the, neck, the neck up. And how do when people say, what do you mean? You ever touch something really hot, like the oven, the stove, something really hot, you don't see what it is, and you pull your hand right away. Then you turn around and you start tapping. Realize, well, it's not really that hot. You could do it again. And now you're okay with it because you had time to reason it out. The body doesn't do that. The body just reacts. So at some point, people losing weight quite often plateau and they stop losing weight. Well, I was sort of doing that. I didn't know exactly what to do. Anyway, as it turned out, a couple of days ago, Friday, I went up to my cousin's house and he was testing out. He just redid some stuff. And, we had a big dinner, big food thing going on. I know that when I go to my family's house for eating, it can mean trouble for me, but okay. So I said, okay, today I get it out of my system. I eat. We had lunch out. We had dinner. I ate like a pig. Yes, I had bread. I always say I haven't had bread in a while. Well, okay, I had a little bit of bread. And when I woke up the next morning on my scale, I put on 4 pounds of water because salt. I had a lot of salt. By the next day, because now I got good again, that plus a couple of pounds came off. Now I gained back 4, but I lost 6. I was now down 2. I went back on schedule. And I've always had the theory of whenever you plateau, you have to feed your body. That way, you're fooling your body. Like a good exercise routine, every now and then you start going a little stale. You change things up in the gym. You sort of fool your body. It reacts differently. That goes with dieting also. Dieting, changing your eating habits. You sort of have to fool the defensive machine. So it stops defending and you can get back on track. And that is pretty much how it's going right now. So, okay, I'm a happy guy. Here I am talking about myself on the show, or I should be talking about whatever else. Well, I'll mention the train walkers again before I go. But for now, I'm having some fun with this. Um, and what else am I doing? Yeah, so that's just what I did. I dropped the necks off my shirt. I dropped the size off my jeans. Well, I'll always have a 4E foot. There's nothing I can do about that. And my foot's still going to be a 12. Can't help that. When people lose weight, they don't lose toe size. It just doesn't happen. I'd like to be an 11, but I'm a 12. I'd really like to drop an E off my foot, but that's not going to be possible. I'm just a wide foot, which means, unlike most of you, I can't just go shoe shopping like everybody else. They don't have it. On the other hand, I can go to Amazon and buy a pair of shoes because either you got it or you don't. And I know just which brands to get. We're coming up on that time. Okay, the month is just started. The Train Walkers played 2 shows the other night. Jade's sitting there plotting and scheming their next move. And every first Sunday of the month, they'll be at Arlene's Grocery, 95 Stanton Street. Mark it on your calendar. It's a very inexpensive ticket to buy. That, go in, have a drink, you get some music. It could be anywhere from 8 to 12 people on stage at one time, depending on who shows up and who's, how it works out. Usually there's 10. And if nothing else, you get a night out and it won't cost you what they're charging at all the main events, all the main venues for tickets now. So go to the affordable shows. They're often very entertaining. They're very good to watch. I've had a lot of fun at music shows where it cost me nothing more than the $10 bill to get in, because that's also where you find up and coming music talent, up and coming bands. You never know where you're going to find them. And as a friend of mine, a late friend of mine, always said, you don't go to hear, especially if someone asks you to go and I don't know who they are. You don't go to hear the music because you know the band. You go because your friend asked you to. And if your friend asks you to go see an act, just go. You need the night out, just go. Baseball season's over. Football is only once a week. Just go. And that is about the story for the week. All right, I'll be talking to everybody this week. I'm going to go clean off my Facebook page because I got a lot of stuff on there. Oh, and by the way, one of my favorite acts that I've been listening to all week is really a cover band that's been around for a while, but I didn't pay all that much attention. Broken Peach. Broken Peach is 4 women singing in perfect harmony with their 3 guys as the band, and they have a whole slew of stuff on YouTube, some great covers of a lot of fun songs. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. That and the Mavericks, of course, have been streaming, either usually audio streams one place or another. So I'm listening to my band all the time. And how bad can this be for me? So when nights when it's raining, I have Broken Peach and the Mavericks. This is okay by me. And when the Train Walkers start live streaming, I'll have them too. Anyway, I'll say goodnight to everybody. Take it easy out there. Don't do drugs while you're driving a truck, or anything else for that matter. If you're going to buy a gun, know what the hell you're doing. And everyone else, take care of themselves and don't be afraid to listen to Big Bird. Muppets are good. Okay. Have a good night, people. I will see you next week. Bye.